I think Wakefield will find a way to win this one. I think they've got enough experience. I do feel like, although the injuries keep mounting up, their pack is actually quite strong. I think it can go toe for toe with the London pack that have shown great resilience. That they'll be bigger than the London pack, but they're still not unathletic in their size. I'm going to go Wakefield by 4.
So I believe in the fairy tale. I picked them at the start to stay up, and I'm sticking it by. I think London are going to do it.
I think it's going to be exciting either way. I don't think it's going to be an open game with lots of. It might have lots of scoring, but I don't think it's going to have lots of a big gap open up at any point. Do you?
No, I think it's going to be proverbial squeaky bottoms everywhere. I'm looking forward. I'm hoping I'm going to be allowed to watch it.
So, on that count, then you would have London staying up, presumably points difference. Wakefield will stay up if you've got both Huddersfield and Hull KR losing. It's hard to see London winning by the 150 that it would mean for Huddersfield or Hull KR to catch Wakefield up points wise. So which one of the two, Huddersfield or Hull KR, do you see losing by the significant amount enough to get them going down?
I'm saying the Giants.
Wow.
I think it's going to be a giant prolapse.
I said London will go down. I didn't expect them to be pointless through this season, but I also didn't expect them to get 10 wins, so they've already defied my expectations. So by no means am I saying that they can't do that again. They certainly can, but I think I've still got to go with the side with a little bit more Super League experience. And London will be the side that's relegated, which is sad and unfortunate, but they have a talented group of young kids who they can build around and strike again in the next couple of years, is my opinion.
We shall see.
Championship then, games of the week, because it's the playoffs. Toulouse versus York and Lee versus Featherstone. Toulouse versus York's on Saturday afternoon, Lee versus Featherstone's on Sunday evening. Both should be on Sky Sports, so there's a little bit of confusion about whether Toulouse v York
apparently not, yeah,
is only on the R-League app or not. It's a bit confusing, but our eyes will be able to watch both of these key games. Let's pick them. So I'll let you go first on Toulouse versus York. Who do you think is going to win?
Toulouse.
Yes, I concur. Then Lee versus Featherstone. Where do you see this one going between the bad boys on the field versus the bad boys off the field?
Well, Featherstone can be grubby when they want to. I think they've probably got enough to do it. Obviously, it's a conspiracy that they're even playing at Lee, that they finished in that position. It's all a big conspiracy related to people's brother-in-laws and mother's cousins and all that kind of thing.
The alternative would have been them away at Toulouse?
Yeah, something like that.
So, yeah. I'd prefer to go to Lee if I were Fev.
Would you ever prefer? That's a strong statement.
I think Lee are more beatable away from home than Toulouse are. I think Lee have developed a level of inconsistency of late. Toulouse, of course, have inconsistency in them, but they also have great skill and talent. Lee have almost over-recruited
because they've been
they don't know what the best side is.
Because they've been fixated on getting the band back together.
Exactly, but not just one band, like 2 or 3 seasons worth of bands back together. But I do think Lee will have enough to win this game. I think they do have a plethora of talent to pick from. I think Featherstone need all of their best players available and playing.
Yeah. I want all of their fans not to be idiots as well. But
let's hope so on both sides of that conversation in that one. League One then, games of the week. Newcastle versus Doncaster. I think that's going to be on the R-League app on Sunday. Hunderland versus Workington. At the time we started recording, I hadn't seen them confirm when this fixture was going to take place.
Yeah.
But it will be on the R-League app as far as I understand as well. I am going to go Newcastle and Workington to pull off a shot.
That's the same way I've gone.
Well, there you go. It's not a shock then, is it?
Yeah, I think Newcastle, I think they've got the firepower. And again, they've recruited lots and lots. And they've almost in the similar track that they've just keep bringing people in. They'd almost thought they were already in the Championship with the sides they had So it doesn't surprise me that they'll have that. Workington, I think, they've got a bit of a spirit in the camp. Hunslet just sort of tick along and bob along, but I don't think, necessarily got that top side. I think had it actually finished the other way around for if Doncaster had been against either of Hunslet or Workington, I would have fancied them to get through.
Yeah.
But there we are with that one.
Well, it'll be them against them the week after anyway, won't it? So
yeah,
there you go. Women's Super League game of the week: St Helens versus Wigan. Saints obviously the second best team consistently throughout this season. Wigan, they really need a win to give themselves confirm themselves in the playoff, because it's not quite a done deal for them. It nearly is, but it's not quite a done deal. But also give themselves some confidence that they can perform in these playoffs this year. This is not the same Wigan side as last year. They haven't really been competitive against those sides above them in the table. So crunch time, let's see if the Wigan ladies can deliver against a very strong St Helens ladies side. Okay.
Yeah, I think Saints will do this one. But
I agree.
Wigan have had quite a lot of players out, haven't they, with holidays and injuries as well. So they've had a very chop and change side lately.
Yeah, and with the new coach and kind of with them thinking about developing some of the younger talent as well, it's just not quite clicked this season for the Wigan Warriors ladies. But St Helens, it has clicked more often than not, hasn't it? So I do think Saints will win the game as well. But Wigan should just cling on to fourth place as the season finishes the week after. I do think. I hope it's not hammering, because Wigan don't need that at this stage. NRL Brit picks. So there's 4 playoff games this weekend in the NRL. That's right, yeah, 4 playoff games, and 3 of them have potential to have British players on the field, and in 4 of the sides. So Friday, 10:50am, it's the Roosters versus the Rabbitohs. Flip it around from last week for who gets the right to say they're at home in that Sydney battle. Ryan Hall, I don't think will be playing for the Roosters. I can't see him recovering back into that side. But the Rabbitohs might have Sam Burgess unless he got himself into trouble again. I think he might have done. We'll see.
I think he did, yeah. I think he is out, yeah.
So we'll see if Tom... And is George's ban finished now?
I don't think.
We might see a Burgess. We probably won't see a Hall, but we might see a Burgess in that one. Either way, we're going to see a cracking fucking game of Rugby League. Saturday at 8:40am, it's the Storm hosting the Raiders. Don't forget, both of those games, the loser gets to go again. So it's not the end of the world for our boys in those games if they lose them. But the Raiders pulled off a shock upset win against the Storm the other week. So if they can do that again, that would be fantastic. With bringing back the rested John Bateman into the side, of course. Sunday, 7:05am, Eels versus the Broncos. You never know, there might be a spate of injuries and young Herbie Farnsworth gets a go in the outside backs for the Broncos. And let's hope
he may yet ride again.
The only way I'm going to watch that game. And yes, Herbie may yet ride again, Tim, yes.
There we go.
Yeah. Anyway, the Google form for fan views on next week's games. Look out for the links after all of the Super League games. Click on the link and you'll be able to comment on any of the other games as well that you choose to. I think I've probably put them all on the form this week to encourage more fan views. As we get to this stage of the season, Tim, that's what we want, isn't it? For me and Sarah next week, we want loads of your views.
If we can get a fan at every game, that is always helpful.
Yeah, certainly, exactly the case. Okay, that is the proper stuff talked about. We're now just going to wrap up the show with some quiz and stuff.
Right, so time to move on to the SLP quiz, and this week it is all about League One winners, Whitehaven.
Ooh. I'm not going to do well at this.
So, first question. Were Whitehaven founded in A, 1908, B, 1928, or C, 1948?
I'm going to go 1948.
You are correct.
I'm sure I'd looked back over some history books at one time when I was putting some stuff together, and was surprised at how late that club was formalised. And Workington was only was a bit before, because they'd won or at least played in the Challenge Cup final by that stage, I think. But Yeah, I was surprised, but it was in there, in the knowledge bank somewhere.
There we go. Right, moving forward a bit closer to now. In which year did Haven win the previous National League One, which was the precursor to what is modern day League One?
Okay, so I'm trying to think of when they had good sides. I think there was a year where, was it Greg McNally tore it up for them, and then a move to Huddersfield, and I think it was back in the days where either Sky was showing the games or Premier Sport was showing the games on a Thursday night, which isn't a million years ago, is it?
No.
2007.
It's 2005.
Oh,
Close. So, final question. Former Whitehaven coach Gerard Stokes also coached which national team?
Is this a trick question?
No.
Okay. So he didn't coach in like another sport like rugby union or something like that?
No. Or cricket.
Well, we could do with a coach at cricket. One who understands test match cricket. I'm going to go with Scotland.
No. I'll give you one more guess.
Cook Islands.
No, it's Serbia.
Ah, okay.
There we go. So there you go. One out
Do you
of
have
three.
more on that? When was it? What was his record?
No. No word. I looked it up on Wikipedia, and that was as good as we got.
Excellent stuff. Okay. You had a quiz. Do you have some recommendations?
I do. I've got two. They're both Coventry centric.
Excellent.
So the first one would be Mark Sloan, the assistant coach for Coventry, his Rocky Road that he makes. Because they've been having a sort of coaching staff bake-off, and I've been invited to try a number of them, and I have to say that Rocky Road was particularly nice. I definitely needed some after Saturday's shenanigans.
So listeners,
coming into the coach's room and been invited to try a nice bit of Rocky Road was more than welcome.
And how do our listeners get their hands on Mark Sloan's Rocky Road?
I'm sure if you get in touch, he might well, be happy to make another batch.
Good stuff.
And my second is actually a band which is made up of a Coventry season ticket holder and two friends. So they're actually two 15-year-olds and a 13-year-old.
Wow.
They're called Mugshot, and they've got two tracks that they've recorded. One called Empire, and another one that's the Rapunzel. I can't see the full name, but it's the Rapunzel something. And they're pretty damn good.
Excellent.
Played them before the game and at halftime on Saturday. And for given their relative inexperience, they are pretty good. And the drumming especially is very tight. So did enjoy listening to that and playing that. So they're two tracks I've got hold of and thoroughly enjoyed.
Good stuff. Mine is not very well sort of researched.
Is it Ron Seal?
It's equally as kind of elusive, potentially, as Mark Sloan's Rocky Road. But at Wigan Warriors Fan Day, the food was provided by a company that kind of suggests themselves as kind of street food, I suppose. So it was not quite Burger Van. It was like gourmet hot dogs, and I'm not sure what was going on with the burgers because I didn't even check those out. But they had a kebab stall as well, and it was street food kebab. I'm guessing they must knock around the Manchester area or something, these people. But it was beef and chicken kebab that they called a posh doner.
Right, yeah.
And it was just brilliant. It was in a naan bread. And the guy was like, "What sauce do you want?" I was like, "Well, I'll go with your recommendation, but what are we thinking?" He said, "Right, you want to have a bit of mint, like mint and cucumber, not